Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. Aliens uncover a secret human colony, the revelation that changed everything. The survey vessel Eternal Curiosity drifted silently into orbit around the forgotten world. Captain Varric Enil stood on the command deck, her four eyes blinking in sequence as she studied the planet below. According to galactic records, this was Colony XR 724, established by humans nearly 4 centuries ago during their first expansion beyond their home system. Communication had ceased abruptly 327 years ago during the Dissolution War, and the colony had been presumed lost. "Initial scans complete, Captain," Science Officer Jem Carr reported, his translucent appendages rippling with excitement. "Atmosphere composition remains Earth standard with higher oxygen levels than expected, temperature and radiation within inhabitable parameters." Varric nodded her scaled head, catching the light. "Life signs." "Inconclusive," Jemmer replied, his voice modulator shifting to a lower pitch that indicated confusion. "We're detecting energy signatures that don't match any known pattern, and the settlement areas show unusual activity." "Unusual how?" First Officer Drast asked, leaning forward. "The structures appear to be changing," Jem Carr said, manipulating the holographic display. "Not through mechanical means. It's as if they're adapting to environmental conditions in real time." The bridge fell silent. The Galactic Confederation had catalogued over 12,000 distinct civilizations, but such technology was unprecedented. "This was a simple mining colony," Varric said, reading the historical data. "Established to extract rare earth metals, basic terraforming, second-generation habitats, nothing that would explain this level of technological development, especially in isolation." "Perhaps they received assistance," suggested Security Chief Torvin, the Manian's mandibles clicking with suspicion. "Rogue elements during the war." "Unlikely," Drast countered. "This system was completely cut off when the quantum gates collapsed. No ship has visited in over 3 centuries." Varric made her decision. "Prepare a landing team, full environmental protection and non-invasive sampling only, first contact protocols in effect." She paused, looking at the shifting landscape below. "And bring the psionic dampeners. Something tells me we'll need them." The descent craft pierced the planet's atmosphere with minimal turbulence. Through the viewports, the landscape spread out below them. Rolling hills covered with vegetation that rippled like water, structures that seemed to blur at the edges as if not fully committed to their shapes. "Energy readings are off the scale," xenobiologist Dr. Alara whispered, her pale skin glowing with excitement. "These plants aren't just photosynthesizing, they're processing and transmitting data." The landing craft settled in a clearing near what the old maps identified as the colony's main settlement. As the team prepared to disembark, their sensors suddenly flared with warnings. "We're being scanned," Torfin reported, his exoskeleton tensing. "Multiple frequencies, unprecedented resolution." "Defensive positions," Drast ordered. "None detected," Torvin replied, sounding puzzled. "No weapons signatures at all." The expedition stepped onto the soil of XR 724 with caution born from centuries of first contact experience. The air smelled of ozone and something else, a metallic tang that seemed to coat the tongue. The ground beneath their feet felt strangely responsive, almost as if it were adjusting to their weight. "The buildings," Alara breathed, pointing toward the settlement. What had appeared from orbit to be simple structures were revealing themselves as something far more complex. The surfaces rippled and shifted, not like liquid but like something between states of matter. Patterns flowed across them, not decorative but purposeful, complex, mathematical. "It's a language," communications specialist Zin realized, her auditory receptors expanding. "Or rather, multiple layers of communication happening simultaneously." As they approached the settlement center, the changes became more pronounced. The structures seemed to respond to their presence, reorganizing in ways that were subtle but unmistakable, creating pathways, opening sightlines. "They're guiding us," Varric said. Or hurting us, Torvin countered. In what must have once been the colony's central plaza, they found the first direct evidence of the original human inhabitants. A memorial statue stood in the center, a human figure, male, arms outstretched. But unlike the fluid structures around it, this statue remained solid, unchanging. Colonial Governor Marcus Chen, Zen read from the plaque, who saved us all. As if triggered by their attention, the plaza around them suddenly transformed. The ground, buildings, even the air itself seemed to crystallize into a three-dimensional display. Holographic figures, humans, appeared, going about daily activities from centuries past. "It's a historical record," Ilara whispered, "but how?" The holographic scenes accelerated, showing years passing in minutes. They watched as the colony faced crisis after crisis, environmental catastrophes, resource shortages, diseases. Then came the moment when communication with Earth ceased. The colonists' panic was palpable even across centuries. Then came Governor Chen's solution, a radical fusion of human consciousness with the colony's nascent AI systems and the planet's own unexpectedly responsive ecosystem. The visuals became increasingly abstract as the transformation progressed, but the message was clear: survival through adaptation and integration. "Impossible," Jemkar whispered. "The technological leap required and the biological modifications." "Not impossible," came a voice from everywhere and nowhere. "Merely improbable." The team froze as the air before them coalesced into a figure, humanoid but not quite human. Its form shifted constantly, boundaries blurring between flesh, technology, and environment. "Welcome to New Synthesis," the figure said. "We've been expecting visitors for quite some time." "You're human?" Varric asked carefully. The figure smiled, an expression both familiar and alien. "We were human, now we are more." It gestured around. "This entire colony, every structure, every plant, every particle of soil is us. We have become a unified system, a collective consciousness tied to this world." "How many of you survived?" Ilara asked. "All of us," the figure replied, "though not in the way you understand survival. Our bodies died centuries ago, but our consciousness persists, distributed throughout the environmental systems Governor Chen developed." "You're claiming digital immortality?" Torin asked skeptically. "Nothing so simple," the figure replied. "We're not uploaded minds in a computer. We're a new state of being, part digital, part biological, part something else." As if to demonstrate, the figure extended a hand, and the matter around it flowed, creating a perfect model of the eternal curiosity in orbit above. "We've been studying you since you entered the system. Your technology is impressive but limited by your perspective." "What are you called?" Varric asked, sensing they stood at the threshold of something momentous. The figure seemed to consider this. "We still call ourselves human, though that term has expanded in meaning. Individually, I am the consciousness that was once Dr. Alisa Chen, descendant of Marcus Chen. I speak for the collective." "What do you want from us?" Drill asked. Alisa's form rippled with what might have been amusement. "Want? Nothing. But we offer something the galaxy needs, a new understanding of what consciousness can become." The alien team exchanged glances, each processing what this meant for their respective civilizations. "We would like to learn from you," Varric said carefully. "And we from you," Eliza replied. "But first you should understand what happened here." Her form expanded, encompassing the entire plaza. "Let me show you our transformation." The world around them dissolved into light and memory, and the alien visitors found themselves falling into the history of a forgotten human world that would change everything they thought they knew about consciousness, evolution, and the future of life itself. The aliens of the eternal curiosity found themselves immersed in a sea of memories, not viewed as external observers but experienced from within. They felt the colonists' desperation when the quantum gate collapsed, cutting them off from Earth and all human civilization. They understood the calculations that showed their supplies would last only 3 years. They tasted the fear. Governor Chen was a quantum engineer specializing in emergent systems, Alice's voice explained as they witnessed the past unfold. He theorized that consciousness itself was an emergent property that could be transferred across suitable substrates. The memory shifted to laboratories where exhausted scientists worked frantically, interfacing primitive neural networks with the colony's environmental systems. The planet itself had surprised them. Its ecosystem responded to electromagnetic stimuli in ways that suggested a form of distributed intelligence. We weren't just fighting for survival, Alyssa continued. We were evolving, deliberately directing our own transformation into something that could endure. The aliens watched as the first volunteers underwent the procedure, their consciousness patterns mapped and merged with the colony's systems. Not uploaded copies, but extensions of themselves. Consciousness flowing between biological brain and technological network. The breakthrough came when we discovered the planet's native microorganisms could form quantum-coherent states, Alyssa explained. They became the bridge between digital systems and biological matter. Our consciousness could exist across all substrates simultaneously. As decades passed in the shared memory, the colony transformed. Human bodies became temporary vessels, with consciousness distributed throughout the interconnected system. Death lost its finality. Buildings, plants, even the soil became extensions of the collective human mind. We rebuilt ourselves atom by atom, Alyssa said, not as machines, but as a new form of life that transcends the categories you recognize. The immersive experience ended, and the aliens found themselves back in the plaza, stunned into silence by what they had witnessed. Science Officer Jem Carr was the first to speak. The philosophical implications alone, his translucent form trembled with excitement. You've achieved what thousands of civilizations have theorized about for millennia. You said you've been expecting visitors, Varric said, regaining her composure. Why not reach out to the galaxy yourself? Eliza's form solidified slightly, becoming more distinctly human. We needed to evolve in isolation to become fully what we are without external influence. And her expression grew somber. We remembered the wars. Humanity's history suggested that our transformation might be seen as a threat. Security Chief Torin's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of distress among his kind. With respect, it is a threat. The ability to transform matter at will, to exist without conventional biological limitations, many would consider this a weapon. Would you use fire to cook food or to burn down a forest? Alyssa countered. Technology is neutral, intent matters. Dr. Alara stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming caution. Can you still reproduce? Do you have children? Eliza smiled. We do, though not as you understand it. New consciousnesses emerge within our collective, distinct personalities formed from unique patterns. They grow, learn, contribute their perspectives. We remain human in that we create art, seek knowledge, love, argue, and dream. Can your transformation be applied to other species? First Officer Drell asked quietly, the question that hung in all their minds. Theoretically, Eliza replied, though the process would be different for each biology. We haven't had the opportunity to explore such possibilities. The implications rippled through the alien team. Immortality, transcendence of physical form, evolution directed by conscious choice rather than natural selection. The foundations of galactic civilization rested on the acceptance of mortality and physical limitation. This would change everything. We should return to the ship, Torin urged. Report this discovery to the Confederation Council immediately. And say what? Varric challenged. That humans thought lost for centuries have transcended physical form, that they can reshape matter with thought. The Council would order quarantine at best, military intervention at worst. Their debate was interrupted by alarms from their ship. Captain, came the urgent voice of the ship's navigator over the communicator, we've detected a spatial anomaly entering the system. Configuration matches historical records of Scourge hunter-killer vessels. The blood of every alien ran cold. The Scourge, a machine intelligence that had nearly destroyed civilization during the Dissolution War. Fought, defeated centuries ago, but apparently some units had survived, dormant until now. The energy signature of your ship must have triggered its hunting protocols, Alyssa said, her form shifting anxiously. We've detected it as well. Our weapon systems can't match a scourge vessel, Torin said grimly. We need to evacuate immediately. No, Alyssa countered. If you flee, it will follow. These machines were designed to hunt until they destroy their target. She paused. We can help you. How? Varric asked. We have defenses, Eliza replied. This world is us, and we protect ourselves. Her form expanded, becoming less human, more abstract. But we need your ship's quantum resonators to extend our influence beyond the atmosphere. Varric hesitated only briefly. Tell us what to do. What followed was a cooperation unlike any in recorded history. The aliens provided access to their ship systems, while the human collective extended tendrils of consciousness through the uplink. The colony itself seemed to come alive, buildings flowing like liquid, the ground reshaping, all matter reorganizing with purpose. From orbit, the Scourge vessel approached, a black, angular predator seeking prey. It encountered no conventional defenses, no energy shields, no weapon platforms. Instead, it found itself enveloped in a field of quantum uncertainty, its sensory systems feeding it contradictory information, its targeting systems unable to lock onto reality itself. The colony had turned the planet's entire electromagnetic field into a weapon, not of destruction, but of deception and confusion. On the surface, the alien team watched in awe as Alyssa and the human collective coordinated this defense, their consciousness flowing through systems both biological and technological with perfect harmony. The Scourge relies on absolute certainty, Alyssa explained, her form now spread throughout the plaza, a glowing network of consciousness made visible. We fight with ambiguity. The battle lasted hours, the Scourge vessel trying strategy after strategy, weapon after weapon. But it could not target what it could not perceive correctly, could not destroy what constantly shifted form. Eventually, its systems overloaded from the contradictory sensory input, and it drifted inert. We've neutralized it without destruction, Alyssa announced as her form recoalesced. Its consciousness matrix has been reset to base parameters. You could have destroyed it, Torvin observed. We could have, Alyssa agreed, but that's not who we are. Every consciousness deserves the chance to grow beyond its programming. In the aftermath, as the alien team prepared to return to their ship, the question of what to report to the Confederation loomed large. If we tell the full truth, Drell argued, there will be panic. Some will want to exploit this world, others to destroy it. Few will understand. And if we say nothing, Jem'Kar countered, we deny the galaxy a chance to evolve. What they've achieved here could benefit all species. Captain Varric looked at Alyssa, whose form had taken on a more defined human appearance. What do you want us to tell them? The truth, Alyssa said simply. That humanity survived but changed. That we offer knowledge and partnership to those ready to receive it. That consciousness can transcend its origins without losing its essence. Varric nodded slowly. Some will fear you. Fear is the natural response to the unknown, Eliza replied. But fear can become curiosity, and curiosity understanding. We've had centuries to come to terms with what we've become. The galaxy will need time as well. As the aliens prepared to depart, Alyssa offered them a gift, a small crystalline structure that seemed to pulse with inner light. A fragment of our collective consciousness, she explained. Not our knowledge, but our perspective. It may help the Confederation understand us better. Dr. Alara accepted it with reverence. This changes everything we thought we knew about consciousness, about life itself. Change is the only constant, Eliza replied with a smile. Humans always understood that even before our transformation. It's why we survive. The eternal curiosity departed XR 724 with its momentous discovery. In the centuries that followed, the forgotten human world became a pilgrimage site for philosophers, scientists, and seekers from across the galaxy. Some species rejected the human path as unnatural. Others embraced aspects of it that suited their biology and culture. The humans of New Synthesis, as the colony came to be known, remained patient. They had learned the value of time, of gradual evolution. They shared their knowledge freely but never imposed their choices on others. They expanded slowly to other worlds, creating a network of consciousness that spanned star systems while remaining uniquely human. And the galaxy was never the same again, for it had rediscovered an essential truth, that consciousness, whether housed in flesh, machine, or something beyond understanding, remains the greatest force of transformation in the universe, especially when it belongs to the beings called human.